My name is Jeff Kresge. I am the Jamestown Social Studies Curriculum Coach. You can reach out to me at email as jeffrey.a.kresge@jpsny.org. The purpose of this video is to talk about Social Studies Standard 4.6 for 4th grade. It is the 6th of 7 standards for 4th grade, and it is Westward Movement and Industrialization. And the standard reads, New York State played an important role in the growth of the United States. During the 1800s, people traveled west looking for opportunities. Economic activities in New York State varied and changed over time with improvements in transportation and technology. Our goal for May is to reach this standard by doing 2 projects. One I thought would be really fun would be the baseball cards for inventors. And so one of the things that I'm going to ask the kids to do is build baseball cards or football cards or hockey cards or whatever for inventors. So think about what that might look like. We're going to research some inventors and then build the card. And the second project is, did industrialization help or hurt? We're going to use 9 documents I'm going to provide for you, and I'm going to let the kids really investigate some images. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We're going to test that theory and then have the kids write a claim. Did industrialization help or hurt? Now, the fun thing about social studies is the answer is up to the child. So if he says or she says, yes, industrialization helped, great. But you could also certainly argue that industrialization hurt. It just depends on the argument that the student makes. So unlike math, where the answer of 2 plus 2 is always 4, in social studies, you can make an argument, which is the fun part about teaching social studies. So let's take a look at that first project. The New York Inventor baseball cards. So I gave the kids a little teaser, and I said, did you know that New York was home to thousands of inventions? Anything from the elevator to Jell-O, all of which is true. And I gave the kids a bunch of names that they could research. So I want them to choose 3 inventors that were from New York that invented or created some kind of business or industry. And I have that list right here. So just have kids pick any 3 that they are interested in. The second step after they pick those names is to research their choices. We want to find out who those people were, where they lived, and when they lived, and what they were famous for. So if you pick Amory Houghton, for example, Amo lived in Corning, and he is Corning glass, famous for Corning glass. So that's what you want to know. We want to know when and where and what they were famous for, and then find a couple of really great photographs for your cards. Now the creative part. Once you have that information, go ahead and build your inventor cards. Now, you can do this on the computer. You could do this by hand. You could do it on a poster board. You could do it on Keynote or PowerPoint. It really doesn't matter. So what we want the kids to do is just have a photograph and that information that they found out. Excuse me. The information that they found out. So a picture and data. Here's Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, and Babe Ruth. Excuse me. The second project that we want the kids to do is to make that decision. Did industrialization help or hurt New York? And I gave them some background information that you can read with your child, or you can have your child read right there. And then here's the task. The task is, was the Industrial Revolution a good thing or a bad thing? And they're going to use the documents that I provided, and they get to make that decision. So they are going to investigate each of the documents, and they're going to try to figure out, by looking at those documents, did industrialization help or did industrialization hurt? Now, they become junior historians, and you'll notice in the documents, I didn't skew it one way or the other. They can take out positives or they can take out negatives, both of which there's evidence to support. So the first document is a chart on New York City population. The second is a chart on my beloved hometown of Buffalo's population. The third one, I went really local and I found a picture of Brooklyn Square. And again, looking at this image, it doesn't really matter if you say, well, this is a good thing or a bad thing. You can say it's a good thing because look at Jamestown. It's booming. It's lots of things are happening. It's beautiful. You could also say it's crowded. It's one place on top of the other, and the river doesn't even exist. The river, by the way, in the picture would be right here. There's our train bridge. The river was actually covered in Jamestown because they didn't want the smell permeating the city. So, document 4. Shopping area on 6th Avenue in New York City in 1899. Document 5, the Detroit Publishing Company in Syracuse, spewing pollution into the atmosphere. Document 6, we're looking at the lives of newsies, newspaper boys in New York City in 1910 with the famous Lewis Hine photograph. Another Lewis Hine photograph working in a tenement in New York City in 1911. Document 8 is the famous Mulberry Street. And you can see the crowding. It's very vibrant, yes, but you can pick out positive things and negative things from this image, which is why it's a fun task. Once the kids think about and investigate those pictures, this is what they have to have an answer to. Was the Industrial Revolution a good thing, a positive, or a negative, bad thing? They get to pick. The only catch is that they have to use evidence that they discovered in those documents to support their opinion. They can't just say it was great or it was terrible. They have to say it was great because in Mulberry Street, you could see it was a very vibrant community. Or you could say it was terrible because pollution set out, noise and smoke pollution as a result of this. It doesn't matter whether they argue good or bad as long as they use evidence to back it up. Again, my name is Jeff Kresge. This is my contact information. You can reach me at jeffrey.a.kresge@jpsny.org. And I thank you so very much for working with Jamestown's fabulous fourth graders in the month of May.